Good morning and welcome to day 16 of the 28-day Plant Strong and Healthy group coaching program. I'm here today with Yiwen.
Morning, everyone.
Yiwen is from Brisbane in Australia and
based in Shanghai.
Based in Shanghai. So if you're actually here in Shanghai, Yiwen is a great resource. Yiwen has her own WeChat group,
Yes.
her own Pingtai, her own platform, and I will provide you with details of how to get in contact with Yiwen. She does a lot of classes here in Shanghai as well, and she's all over the place.
All over China and elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
So let me just give a quick introduction.
Yiwen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be invited by Denise. I'm a plant-forward whole foods chef educator, and my mission and vision in the whole plant-forward movement is about promoting food, our choices of food and health, as well as food and sustainability.
Yep. So Yiwen and I work very well together because whereas I'm more focused on the health aspects, Yiwen's more focused on the supply and the environmental and the sustainability.
Connecting with our local farmers, using biodiverse ingredients, also localizing the dishes, plant-forward dishes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Yiwen also has a much stronger background in macrobiotic food. We just had a little conversation before class, and she told me one of the ways, I'll let her describe what to do with tofu, because I often do not like the taste of that tofu-y smell in dishes, especially salad dressing. So I'll leave that to Yiwen to explain how to solve that one.
Yeah. So macrobiotics is quite linked to the concepts of traditional Chinese medicine, where we look at food as the food energetics. So food energetics, because everything has vibration, everything has energy. So we try to understand the energy of food to make it balance the yin and the yang, mostly. So of course, when we talk about yin and yang, it might get a little bit complicated. But basically very easy, simply said, like yang vegetables are more the root vegetables. They grow deep down into the earth, very condensed. So they actually give us the energy of strengthening. A
little bit like kappa in Ayurvedic medicine.
Right.
Kappa
Strengthening,
kappa, which is
grounding, making us really grounded and strong. Whereas right now we're going to spring summer, so all the vegetables available to us is more uplifting, right? The leafy greens, the even the broad beans, the peas, all these type of seasonal foods actually when in harmony with the season actually cleanse and nourish us for the season that we need. The balance, certain balance.
Now, herbs and spices, are they considered yang or yin, or does it depend on the particular type of?
I think depend. Yeah, I don't think we need to talk too much about the yin. Yeah, it gets a little confusing.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Macrobiotics is quite complicated.
Yeah. So going back to tofu, usually a lot of raw food people will not cook the tofu. But for us, we like to keep a balance of it and also to cut down the soy taste and to make it more easily digestible. We're going to make a tofu nace today. So the tofu has been boiled with a little pinch of salt for about 10 minutes. And to make the tofu nace creaminess, tofu is a great way, but if you can't digest tofu, you can also use some, hemp seeds, cashew seeds. What I like to blend to make things creamy, since I'm in China, is the mountain yam root vegetable, sanyao. If you boil it, it actually gives a nice creamy consistency as well.
Yes, and that's another thing is really we've got 4 recipes that we're going to look at today. But what I would really like to encourage you to think about is what I say is substituting out. If you do not have an ingredient, particularly a core ingredient, because it's not available locally, maybe it's imported or it's just not it's just not convenient to get, then what I suggest is you start to look around at the ingredients that are in season and are available locally, and you work with those. And
that also helps to reduce food miles.
Yeah, it reduces food miles, and from a health point of view, your body is living in an ecosystem, and you are very much connected to that, and the food around you is the right food for that ecosystem.
Because it picks up the vibrations that we need for the environment we're living in.
So people who achieve good health do not necessarily have to eat a huge variety of foods from all over the world. It is a misunderstanding on behalf of a number of raw food eaters and a lot of plant-based eaters that they have to source, for example, kiwi fruits from New Zealand or avocados from Mexico or something like that.
We actually have them in Yunnan, avocados.
In order to stay healthy, you do not need to do that. You can find foods that are similar in your environment, and if they grow in your environment, then they are suitable for your body. And if they do not grow in your environment, they're really not quite suited to where you are and your body, where your body is at.
That's the beauty of nature, right?
Yeah.
Just, it's so generous to us.
Yeah. Look, there are so many different ways you make salad dressings. We've chosen some here that are very tasty, but I hope that you get a little bit of creativity going there with what you see. And I believe also that we should use our eyes and our nose, like the smelling of the freshness. There's no point making a strawberry balsamic salad dressing in the middle of winter if strawberries aren't available. And if they look as though they're really nice and fresh and they're in season, go for it. So let's get started. I'm going to start preparing some of the ingredients that we need, like for making the salad dressings. And one of those is the lemons.
Yeah. Actually, can I just add one line? Yeah, I love the topic today of what Denise is sharing, because I work with different corporate wellness partners, as well as organic farms, different clients, integrative medicine clinics, and a lot of people want to eat more plants, but they actually are not familiar with how to enjoy more. So actually sauces makes a huge difference. And plus sauces give us the extra vitamins and minerals and micronutrients that we actually need more of. So I'm sharing a tofu nace and a Sesame Tahini miso dressing. And as we know, like from plants, we get loads of calcium from sesame seeds, right? And tofu, as everyone knows, it's full of proteins. So we actually can gain a lot of nutrients, not just from the veggies we're eating, but also from the sauces. Whereas when you buy sauces outside, it's full of artificial flavorings and colorings and salt, hidden sugars. That's something that, that's why I love the topic today.
So think of your sauces as almost being like medicine. It's a delivery system for a whole lot of very powerful nutrients. Especially if we're going to, if you're using things like your spices. Now, in the whole food plant-based no oil world, we tend not to think too much in terms of pyramids. We think of plates, but how you divide your plates up. The small quantities of what I would say super nutrients are very, very powerful. So some of these I'll just point out. We've got ginger. We've got some thyme, which came from my garden. There's also a few pieces of rosemary that I just plucked from outside. Some of the other super nutrients, we've got some cayenne pepper. Cayenne brings with it a whole lot of benefits.
And for local version, Yunnan also has, or Guangxi also has beautiful, nice chili, or Wuhan. Or you can substitute for Sichuan pepper too. That gives a little more tasty, different Sichuan twist to it.
Yeah. So you can take a favorite salad dressing and modify it in a few ways. And like, for example, the mayonnaise, you can add different things to the mayonnaise that completely change the taste.
Yeah. But today we're just showing a base. Like, at least you understand the substitute of using dairy products. You can use, tofu or nuts and seeds.
Yes. And a lot of the present way of producing salad dressings, we have become used to the commercialization of the salad dressings. To be perfectly honest, 50 years ago, our ancestors did not actually eat a lot of raw food. They didn't eat a lot of salads. They didn't have the variety. They didn't have there wasn't that many sauces. The number of sauces was relatively limited. But then in the 1950s, there was a massive explosion in food technology, but it went down a different path. It went down a path of actually the triggering our brain, the pleasure trap, getting us to eat foods that are high in calories, that satisfy that desire that we have to maximize the amount of calories in a single sitting. But that doesn't necessarily mean satisfying the calorie does not necessarily mean that we're satisfying our nutritional needs.
Exactly.
So we ended up going down a path.
Yes.
So, for example, the mayonnaise that Yiwen is going to make, nutritionally, it's completely different. And from a macronutrient point of view, it's very, very different from the commercial mayonnaises. And quite frankly, I think the taste is far superior as well.
Definitely, yeah.
So what we have,
using the concept of whole foods.
And using the concept
minimally
of
processed.
Minimally processed.
Minimally refined.
Now, another thing that I do find with students is because we're all very, very busy, and a lot of students sort of say, I don't have time to make salad dressings from scratch all the time. There are a number of salad dressings that you can make that will last several days. Mm-hmm. And there are also salad dressings that you can, or there's batch cooking techniques that you can do so that you have the ingredients to hand to make a salad dressing as and when you need it. I'll give you an example of some of the ingredients that I have brought to Shanghai and I prepare. This is a jar of roasted garlic. Now, roasted garlic put in for example, Yiwen's mayonnaise would just be absolutely amazing because the roasted garlic is so much more fragrant than just
nice. Yeah.
Much more fragrant.
So I can mix some raw and some
exactly.
roasted. Yeah.
So we'll make the base and then we can modify it. The other thing that I recommend you do, and I've spoken to you, Kuldeep, about this. This is some of my yogurt. It was ready, the cashew yogurt that we made a couple of days ago. I strained it out. I put in the little jar there. Now this adds a certain type of sourness, but it's a creaminess as well.
So and the probiotic benefits.
And the probiotic benefits as well. And it's also got the nuts, so it's got the zinc and it's got several of the minerals that come in the nuts. So that was the cashew base there. Now, a scoop of this in a different salad dressing, for example, a balsamic one, can change the consistency of it, can change the whole umami
flavors, yeah.
Yeah,
which is what people actually crave in meat, in animal products. It's that umaminess, that burnt flavor.
Yep.
But with plants, there's all different techniques to give it.
The other thing is, like, once you've made your salad dressings, you want to use them on a dish that, how do I say this? It just provides the best environment for you to really appreciate the taste of the salad dressing. Last night we had microgreens, and there was a lemon date salad dressing that I made very, very quickly. It was from 1.5 lemons with a teaspoon of Dr. Greger's Savory blend, and it was a tablespoon of the date syrup. And I mixed it together, and I made this salad dressing. And while we were preparing class last night, I think it was Angel. Yep, that's microgreens.
From Biofarm.
Yep, some of our friends just mixed the salad dressing in with the salad, and it was just delightful.
Yeah, you can actually taste the natural flavor of the vegetables. Whereas when you buy store-bought, dressings, it actually covers the beautiful natural flavors.
It does.
Right?
And this is a particular big issue we find with omnivores that are transitioning to a whole food, plant-based, no oil diet, is that their taste buds are completely destroyed. Their range of taste experiences are extremely narrow. This is all part of the fact that the gut microbiome has actually been craving the unhealthy ingredients that are in a lot of animal-based and commercially processed foods. And it's very sad because you're actually spending more time feeding all of these parasitic microbes that are in your gut. They want to be fed, and so you're craving these things, but in actual fact, they're not nurturing you. This is not nourishment.
It's actually also draining our energy. We want food that has vitality and life.
High vibration food. Mm-hmm. And when you start to eat high vibration food, you will find that there is like a cascade of changes that happen. Losing weight is actually, it is a very desirable thing for a lot of people, but it's actually one of the least important of the side effects of eating a whole food, plant-based, vibrant diet.
Yeah. So when we talk about vibrant and energetics of food, sprouts are one of the future 50 foods. There was a report that was published just last year by WWF and more that categorizes certain foods, about 12 categories of foods that are good for us and good for the environment, and sprout was one of them. And all those categories are all plants. Yeah. So as we can see, full of life force, the sprouts and microgreens, and this is from a local farm in Shanghai called BioFarm, and they have a section of sprouts called Ambrosia sprouts. Yeah.
So what I'm saying here is that you're mixing high quality salad dressings with high quality salads.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong.
No, you can't go wrong. And if you're particularly hungry, adding some of your grains and adding some of your legumes to a salad can make it from a side dish to an actual main meal. And what I've got here is I've got some chickpeas that I roasted in a salad. And those ones have got a sesame, they've got seaweed on them as well.
Wow.
And this one has got balsamic and garlic and smoked.
Sea vegetables are actually one of the future 50 too. Yeah.
Sea vegetables, yeah, definitely. So what I'm saying is you can actually take some of these and sprinkle them on a salad, and they give that little bit of a crunch. And when we're talking about helping people to reduce the amount of fat in their diet, we had a talk last night on calorie density. When we're trying to reduce the amount of calories, but we're still trying to get the same experience of enjoying our food and having, we're having both the crunch and the softness and the spice and the flavors. Instead of adding crushed nuts or nuts to your salads, you can add these. We've also got some chickpeas cooking at the moment. You can do a lot of different things and just throw in a handful. And as we learned from last week, I should say, when we did our batch bean cooking, one of the reasons why we do the batch cooking is that we can store it. You can store it in little plastic bags. You can store it in little plastic boxes. But you can go to your freezer and you can take out some of these legumes that you've previously cooked, and you can toss them around in some herbs and spices, and then throw them in a salad. And it's just, it adds really healthy calories, gives you more energy. It's more filling, satiating, and it adds different textures as well. And it drives me crazy that as a person who is plant-based for 38, nearly 39 years, people will invite me to dinner and there's like, or go out to a very expensive restaurant, and you tell them that you're plant-based, and they give you iceberg lettuce with some tomatoes and maybe a couple of slices of onion. And then they say, there's your dinner. And it's like,
they have no idea.
No idea.
The whole kingdom, plant kingdom, has so much to offer. Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you brought that up because talking about sustainable food choices, we actually have about 30,000 species of plants that we can be eating, but we're only eating about 150 of them. So it's first of all, we're really lacking, a multitude of vitamins and minerals that you can put it that the nature offers us. Plus, we need to eat more biodiverse ingredients so that we give nutrients and vitamins back to the soil as well, because we are only as healthy as the health of our earth as well, right? Yeah. So just before we move on, I just wanted to brag about the sprouts that was made at home. If you have time to do your own sprouts, these are great ceramic. Yeah. So you just soak the seeds overnight, and then you put them in this sprouting ceramic sprouter, which is so much easier than the plastic
Japanese
trays.
Or Chinese?
Chinese.
This
Yeah.
is traditional when they did it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have plastic trays.
Imagine how much vital force there is. I have a whole lid on this, right, to cover it. And after 3 days, look what we have. Like these beautiful creatures.
And how much, where did you get this container?
Taobao.
You got it from Taobao?
Yeah, I can give you the link.
That would be great.
Actually, not much. Carol ordered for me.
That's interesting because I have, plastic can be very useful, I admit, but I don't like it. If I have a choice between getting a ceramic strata and a plastic one, I take ceramic.
Yeah, and less mold too, because plastic can get.
Plastic is moldy, yeah. I actually had a conversation with one of the farmers that worked at my farm. He told me that I asked him about microgreens, and he said they grow their microgreens under very special conditions. But most people who are trying to do their own sprouting, they make the mistake if they don't really know how to sprout properly. And plastic, there's a lot of fungi and mold that grows in the conditions that people will sprout. So that's actually detracting you from your health, because if you're consuming mold and fungi, apart from like mushrooms are a type of fungi, but the mold can actually cause you a great deal of health issues.
Yeah, so that's why biofarm use filtered water. They use a really advanced machine that you won't touch.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Is a lot of people when they're growing their own microgreens themselves or sprouting themselves, they're not actually doing it in a healthy way. And, I like the idea of using the ceramic pot. We're going to get started now, and one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of the lemon. I can't remember what Dr. Greg calls it. Lemon paste. Anyway, it's basically the lemons ground up in the blender over here. I'm going to hand this over to Yiwen. Sure.
Denise? Yeah.
This is Dr. Gregor's recommendations, is that you peel the skin off a couple of lemons. In this case, we've got, actually, I might just quickly do 3 of them, because if you're going to do this, yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, Dennis, you're talking about the sprouts, right? I make at home, and I soak them, and I tie it in a muslin cloth.
Oh, yes.
That's a very old-fashioned one.
Yeah, that's great. Yes.
That's how my mom used to do, and I follow that. I did not use the plastic or the ceramic, but that's so it's an old traditional way I follow.
Oh, yes. Sounds great. Yeah.
Send us a picture of the muslin bag too, because that is.
I have it too. Yeah. It's like when you use nut milk bags.
Oh, okay.
It's just like the organic cotton. Yeah.
So what I'm here with this is thank you very much for that, Kuldeep. If you could share some information about that in the group and let other people know, because it's always good to let the group know about our traditional ways of preparing foods. It expands our knowledge base. So what Dr. Gregor recommends here is that in order to get the full flavour of the lemon, we should peel the skin off it and chop it up and use the whole lemon, okay, not just the juice. So we're getting, if you think of it from a macrobiotic point of view, we're getting the seeds. Seeds of a citrus are incredibly valuable with nutrients. You know, it surprises me that people spit a lot of seeds out, but they're actually very nutritious. So we're going to be using those. We're going to be using the pulp and also the juice. So we'll just pop that on over here. I'll let Yiwen take care of that. Just blend it till it's cream, and well, you know, mushy, and then we're going to put it in the ice cube.
उसको मतलब आधा टाइम क्वेश्चन आंसर करने में उसको सेशन चलेगा.
Whole blend lemon ना, whole lemon blend. क्या ये बिजारी फोटो?
Let me get a spatula.
कौन है ना?
Now,
महिला जयवर्धन.
Yiwen said, yes.
Denise, is this a whole blend lemon you making?
Yes, whole blended lemon.
Whole blended lemon.
With
and
the seeds
did you put the seeds also?
Yes, everything except the skin. I peeled the skin off. There were 3 lemons. I peeled the skin off and then I chopped it up into little chunks, and Yiwen has just blended it, and we're going to pop it in the ice cube container here.
Okay, I just want to share that the one which I made the whole lemon blend with the orange, no, with the cover, I just removed the seeds.
You did you?
Is it fine?
Yeah. It won't hurt. It's just that Dr. Greg recommends that we use the whole.
Take the seeds also.
Keep the seeds. Don't worry about it.
But I put the skin also.
The thing is that with the skin, sometimes the skin can be very bitter. It has a different it has a different flavor.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find with salad dressings is that generally speaking, salad dressings are meant to be a blend of sour, sweet, and then occasionally in the fridge, creamy. No, we'll probably just leave it here because we'll probably take a little bit of it or 1 or 2 of the salad dressings. Now, this is actually quite a lot.
But you can actually freeze that, right?
You can freeze it. So, it's really lemony. Instead of buying little bottles of lemon juice or worrying about having lemons on hand, you will have little cubes of lemon paste to go whenever you like. Now, a salad dressing is, as I've mentioned, it is a mixture of a sour, a sweet, and usually a herb of some kind to give it that little bit of extra flavour. So if you've always got a supply of lemon paste on hand, you can whip up a salad dressing really quickly. I would also consider maybe doing the same for oranges and limes, because your base of the sours, I do have a chart somewhere that shows you, I made it about 2 or 3 years ago. It had a selection of your sours that you could choose. There's your various vinegars, and there's so many different types of vinegars. Then you had your lemons and your limes, and then you had your sweetnesses. Oranges actually came underneath the sweetness category. So blueberries, strawberries, what else is a nice? Dragon fruit are your sweeteners. So instead of actually papaya, mangoes, they are your sweeteners. Pineapple. Well, pineapple might also be the sour as well. It depends on the type of pineapple. But they fall in the category of adding your sweetener. So you don't have to add sugars. Now, in this case, one of the salad dressings that we're going to be using is we're going to use date syrup. So that's where the sweetness comes from. And date syrup pairs very nicely with the lemons. What was I about to say with that? The other side of things, like going back to the sours, we've got some various vinegars here. I have a coconut vinegar. This one actually is imported from Thailand through a friend of mine. And I quite like this coconut vinegar. It has a really nice fragrance. But Yiwen and I had a bit of a conversation about this, is that if at all possible, we'll try and use local ingredients. And, you know, locally in China, we've got rice vinegars. Rice vinegars are very
apple
easy.
cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar as
well.
Now, balsamic vinegars, I'm not too sure of. Most of them come from Italy and Spain. So, but balsamic vinegars do bring a completely different taste. They are very rich. I don't know that there's anybody making fairly decent balsamic vinegars in China. It's possible because they are growing more grapes. So we've got our sours, we've got our sweets, we've got some lovely strawberries here that we're going to be pairing with the balsamic. And then we've got the creaminess. How do you add creaminess? So as Yiwen has pointed out, she has prepared some tofu. So that is one way that you can add a bit of creaminess to a salad dressing. People sometimes, the salad dressings that some people have been actually raised on are actually quite limited. They're mayonnaise.
Yeah, I know Thousand Island.
Thousand Island.
I mean,
I make a
that's
nice Thousand Island dressing.
yeah,
But
but there's a much more healthy version.
Yep. And for saltiness, when we're adding a little bit of salt to it, instead of actually adding salt, we often use miso. Look, Dr. Greger has done research on this, and he says that the amount of salt that you have in miso, the sort of like salt can cause damage to your body. I mean, Jenny Cameron explained last night, she's our nutritionist, plant-based nutritionist that works with Essential Wellness, and she pointed out that she cannot tolerate a high salt diet. Dr. Greger has pointed out that the soybeans that are actually in miso, the probiotic benefits outweigh the salt, so it sort of balances that way. Jenny might disagree, but when we're sort of making salad dressings, miso and white miso is an acceptable way to add some saltiness to it without actually adding salt. So saying that, we're going to get started with our first salad dressing, and this one is the ginger sesame orange. So we need half an orange. Just going to get that, and I'll let Yiwen talk about what she's doing over there.
Okay, what I'm doing is Denise mentioned about miso. So I'm putting this in a sriracha bowl, which actually has, is it called rivets or something? Rivets that help to dilute the miso, because you don't want chunks of miso in your dressing. So usually I would use a sriracha bowl and then a little wooden stick to dilute it before making my dressing, which later on I'm going to make a sesame miso dressing. You're making a different one, right? Yeah.
I'm making a different one.
Okay, yeah.
I'm starting the orange ginger one.
Okay.
I love ginger.
Yeah.
Ginger is one of those spices that has a particular affinity. Well, a lot of women have a particular affinity
Especially
for it.
Asian women love ginger.
Yeah, well,
It's very warming.
it is very warming. It's very comforting, but it brings so many health benefits. I love it with eggplant
Reduce inflammation. Yeah.
So I highly encourage you to use ginger. If you like the taste of ginger, add it as frequently as you can to as many of your sauces, dips, and stir fries. Okay, I'm going to double the quantities of this because I find that I like larger quantities. Some of the salad dressings, the amounts seem to be a little bit smaller than one. I must be fairly generous when I pour them all over my salad. So I've doubled that. There was supposed to be half an orange, and I put one whole orange. Okay. We need 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, which I will actually add 2 tablespoons to it. Actually have a measure. Yes, we do.
Denise, can you keep saying what you're adding?
Yes. So I added 1 whole orange. This is on page 80 of Dr. Greger's How Not to Die cookbook. So I've doubled all of the quantities as I usually do because I'm into batch cooking. So we're putting 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons of tahini. Now, I'll just point out, in case some of my students don't realise, tahini is actually made from roasted sesame seeds. So I recommend you can make it yourself. It's not very difficult. You just lightly toast sesame seeds and then you put them in a high-speed blender and you make a paste from it. So this is a homemade tahini. I remember years ago my daughter sort of had bought some tahini and it sat in our pantry for such a long time. We didn't know how to use it and the oil had separated. It was on top. But I have never had that experience with my own homemade tahini. I don't know why, but the oil never seems to separate.
I think it's also the blend. I have to invest in a good blender,
right,
so that it mixes well.
Right. Well, I think I cheated with this because Xiaopan at the centre, she has a Thermomix, and I think I got her to make it with that. So.
Did you add the ginger also?
Not yet. It's coming. So the next ingredient is grated fresh ginger, 1.5 teaspoons.
Okay, so we have a ceramic grater here.
Oh, okay. So.
Which, because the stainless steel makes it a little more bitter, but ceramic somehow just is more sweet.
Bitter, eh?
Yeah.
I know that you do have to be careful with using metal on certain probiotic rich foods because metal can actually kill the bacteria that's present enough. So we don't use metal instruments when we're fermenting food. And speaking of fermenting food, while I'm peeling this ginger, I'll let Yiwen talk about a ginger bug. And we started making one last night. Actually, you see this skin? This skin you can actually throw on your ginger bug.
Oh, wonderful.
There's nothing wrong with
Very happy, right?
Mm-hmm. So I've just peeled the skin off the ginger, which, by the way, actually has a lot of nutrients in it. In some cases, I would actually leave the skin on.
Yeah, so this ginger bug, Denise gave me her starter. And yesterday, we just put some raw cane sugar, like rapadura, as well as some grated ginger, or you could just slice it into strips, right, you said? Yeah, and just some water. Well, I forgot the proportions.
If I was making a ginger bug, I would use a tablespoon of chopped, diced or shredded ginger, a level tablespoon of sugar, and a cup, like 150, no more than 200 mils. Usually 150 would be enough, of water at it each day for a week. And then what would happen is during that time that you, actually, Yiwen, you need to probably have a cloth cover over the top because it needs to breathe.
Okay, just like kombucha. Right?
Yes, it does. And then what would happen is the ferment starts to take and it starts to froth up and bubble and that sort of thing.
Okay.
You do have to be fairly careful when you bottle it. If you get the pop-top bottles and you put your ginger bug, you strain your ginger, the ginger beer, I suppose you could call it, out of your ginger bug, and you put it into the pop-top bottles. I would leave them out of the fridge for no more than 8 hours with the pop-top.
Like yesterday, your kombucha, right?
Well, that was because I travelled.
Yeah.
But if you took your pop-top bottle and you put your ginger beer in it and you close the pop-top lid, I would leave it out during the day for about 8 hours, no more than 12 hours or overnight in this warm sort of conditions. And then I would put it in the refrigerator. And what will happen is the ferment will keep going on in the bottle and you'll slow it down when you refrigerate it. But when you open it, it's all nice and fizzy. Okay, so I've just grated up my ginger here. and it's 1.5 teaspoons in the regular recipe. And I'm going to add, hopefully 3. I might get 3. I don't know that I'll get 3. That looks like sugar, so might make some more. I think that's quite enough. I like it nice and gingery. Give you some more. I'll give you some more of this. Okay, skins. Now it's interesting, just going back to speaking about vinegars. Vinegars are also a fermented food. But my thoughts is that I encourage my students to actually think about getting into fermented foods, because not only is it very satisfying, it's also very healthful as well. I'll just chop this all up. I forgot about the grater. Anyway, I'll just chop this silly. And so, for example, China has a rich history, and India does as well, of fermenting foods. And there are a lot of nutritional benefits from doing that, and vinegars as well. So we're just that was supposed to be grated, but I chopped it up.
Blend is strong.
It's going to okay. Now the next ingredient after that is we've got some garlic.
Garlic, yep.
Now I have my roasted garlic here,
Ooh.
so this is
luxurious.
Yeah, that's nice. There's something about the roasted. It's like when you're stir frying onions. The caramelization, it brings out a different depth. And making salad dressings is like making perfumes from essential oils. Perfumes, they have a base and then they've got a high and a low note and things like that. When you smell a perfume, you get hit with one smell and then it hits you with another and then it hits you with another. The same should happen with salad dressings. There's a layering of flavors. So a really, really good salad dressing, you taste it and then all of a sudden you go, oh my goodness, I can taste lemon. I can taste something sweet. Is that blueberries or is that strawberries? Oh, there's some spice there. Is that ginger? So it should be like that, because that's how my mouth is watering as I'm describing this, Yiwen.
What's that?
My mouth is watering.
Oh yeah?
As I'm describing the different layers of flavors that come in salad dressings.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we? We've got our garlic, and we're going to put
Parsley, 2
minced
tablespoons.
scallion. Is it 2 tablespoons?
1 tablespoon scallion, minced scallion, and 2 tablespoons parsley.
Oh, parsley. Okay, we've got some parsley. I've got some parsley here.
And 1 teaspoon white miso.
That's some parsley that came from my garden. I dried that, so that's nice and fresh.
So that's 2 tablespoons.
So we're doubling.
We're doubling, okay, so 4.
It's always nice to have a few herbs growing fresh, because the difference between fresh herbs and non-fresh herbs is just enormous. And I think I would have to say
much cheaper.
Yeah, I have to say that most whole food plant-based chefs that I know of, they have their own little window box garden. They'll have a small one with a few herbs. If not a whole rooftop like I have. So how much scallions?
2 teaspoons or 4? Oh wait, scallion 2 tablespoons. 1 tablespoon or 2? Yeah. And did you put the miso yet?
Yeah. I think there's also something very satisfying about growing a plant and just being able to go out there and cut it and eat it straight away. From an energetic point of view,
Date syrup, 1 teaspoon.
from an energetic point of view, it's incredibly powerful, I would say. I was describing to Yiwen this morning how when I get up in the morning, I just get up and I go out into my garden and I take a pair of scissors and I cut the tops of many of the spinach and the herbs and some of the mints, and I just bring it into my kitchen and I rinse it off and I throw it in the blender and I throw in maybe a piece of fruit like a pear or an apple or something like that, and add a bit of water, blend it up, and it's just lovely. A bit of ginger in there as well.
Okay, and then turmeric?
Turmeric, yes, turmeric. I did have some fresh turmeric at home, but unfortunately I didn't bring it. And then we've got some, Yiwen's just put in the miso paste. We've got the date syrup,
Yes.
turmeric, and cayenne pepper. Thank you. So how much the turmeric? 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, so just a little bit. Turmeric is an amazing spice. And a bit of cayenne. And if you're still following Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen, I told my students about the Daily Dozen. It's an app, and one of the Daily Dozen is having some herbs and spices in your diet. They have amazing anti-inflammatory and cleansing properties. Yeah, and you only need very small amounts of them. Last night we had some watermelon, some yellow watermelon. I mentioned something to my friends about putting cinnamon or nutmeg on the fruit, and it really changed the experience for them. Okay, so and then that's everything. We just blend it up.
Great. Now you get the liquids.
And that dressing goes very well with mango and avocado, kale salad. I think it would go pretty much any food.
Sorry, excuse me. Any liquid? This is a bit dry.
Yeah, it is a bit dry. We might have. Oh, the vinegar, did we put the vinegar in?
No, I don't think so. Did you?
1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, yes.
We put it in?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit dry. Add some liquid to it. Another thing that you can also do is if you've made a salad, you can take some of the salad out and put that in the blender and blend that up. That often goes back on the salad really nicely as well.
You mean after you press the salad?
Well, no, if you make up a big salad, you've got a lot of different vegetables, you can actually take a portion of that salad out, stick it in the blender, add some orange juice and lemon juice or whatever you want, mix it up, and that makes a really nice salad dressing as well. And it pairs really nicely with that salad.
Nice. Sure.
It's quite flavoursome. So the next one we're going to make
Put it in the jar for now.
pop that into a jar.
Yeah, I love keeping jars from everywhere. Otherwise, it comes so handy when you're making sauces. You just make it right in the jar instead of, having to wash 2 things, right? Like the one I'm going to show, the Sesame Tahini one. You made right in the jar.
Now these salad dressings are best eaten on the day that we make them. This is actually looking more like a pesto.
Yeah.
They're best off eaten on the day that you make them, so that you get the full nutritional value out of them.
Yeah, where some you can store 3 to 5 days, right?
Sorry.
Wait. The other one. Yeah, this way, yeah. It smells so good.
I actually have this handy little. It's like a sieve.
Sideways, yes.
Yeah, and it fits in. It's like a wide mouth siphon, and it's really good for pouring this sort of stuff into bottles. I must get some more.
Mm-hmm. Smells really good. I don't think we need to wash this for the tofu nace because these flavors.
Do you want to make the tofu nace next then?
Yeah, that's why I said I don't think we need to wash this.
Go ahead, because
Right? Because
my salad dressing out this is a little bit more. So we'll wash it between the mayonnaise
Okay.
and my other, which is
Let me
the
try
garlic.
this first. Actually, there's quite a lot.
This is really nice pesto. Angel, we're going to have a really nice lunch today.
Uh-huh.
That's great. That's what I'm looking for.
Actually, have you got any wholemeal flour? Maybe I can make some pita bread. Do you have any wholemeal flour?
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah, so I mean, after
Yeah,
class is
maybe-
over,
Yeah.
after class is over, I'll make some pita bread. That's one of the good things.
We'll have
about-
a digital party, right?
We'll have a digital party. That's one of the good things about doing this sort of doing these classes is you get to eat really yummy food.
Yes.
It always stuns people when they come across the sort of food for the first time. They just it's like I didn't realize it could be so delicious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's true. It really is.
Want to taste a bit of it?
I have had some, but I'll have some more. No.
Really nice. I think it will go very well with tofu nace. Okay, so that's the dressing.
Yes, I would almost call that pesto.
Oh, okay, I think it shuts.
Oh, it doesn't shut it.
Yeah. Okay, so should I start
You
the tofu
go with
nace?
the tofu
Okay.
nace.
So tofu nace is quite simple. I'm just going to use the blanched tofu that's been blanched for about 10 minutes. And then I am...
So you didn't actually cook it, you just put boiling water on it?
no, I cooked it in boiling water and then drain it.
10 minutes.
Yeah, because as we said, it
it's
cuts
the
the soil.
It's the soy taste.
Yeah, and also easier to
Yeah,
digest.
I made some soy mayonnaise. I actually gave my students a recipe for soy mayonnaise, which was very nice. It had only good ingredients in it, but I had this feeling that I could taste at the back of my throat. I could taste the soy in
So
it.
just try boiling it.
And you know, it was a fresh piece of soy as a fresh piece of tofu. So there shouldn't have been any reason why, it was just naturally that flavour.
Okay, and then I think I'm just gonna. We have a block of tofu and maybe 1 tablespoon of mustard,
Seeded mustard.
Or Dijon mustard, and some apple cider vinegar, or you could use coconut vinegar. Either way, I think
Apple cider vinegar.
yeah, something local here.
Is that apple cider?
Yeah. And then a little.
What Yiwen is making?
Yiwen is making mayonnaise.
Tofu
Okay.
nace.
Tofu nace.
Is it in the cookbook, Denise?
I've given you a recipe.
Okay.
I can post it again. The thing is that next time I will probably change that recipe and I'll mention that we boiled the tofu to get rid of the smell. Because
Yeah.
that's the only
Even I'm not fond of tofu.
Yeah. So after you boil it, first of all, it cuts out that soy taste, but also easier to digest.
Yeah.
So a little bit of salt. And yeah, you don't use oil. Usually I'll put a little bit of olive oil, but yeah, you don't need to. What else do you put in your
lemon juice.
yeah, lemon juice? Yes, and then some we put So lemon juice. Oh yeah, that's right.
So I'll give you a teaspoon. You just scrape some of that off there. And I often put in like date paste or date syrup.
Right, to balance the
Yeah.
Dennis, this is oil and egg-free mayonnaise recipe, right?
That's correct.
Kim Campbell.
Kim Campbell's, yes. Might actually send her a message and tell her about Yiwen's idea about No, she doesn't.
Got it? Okay, so simple as that. This is a base. But if you have other herbs, you want to make certain, other international cosmopolitan flavors, you can add in the spices. So this is just a good base.
It is a good base, and for example, you could take one of these, a capsicum or chili or something like that. You could roast it. You could take some eggplant and roast it, and then you could add this mayonnaise or you could add that roasted vegetable to this mayonnaise and blend it up, and you've got a very creamy roast vegetable dip.
And beautiful color.
Beautiful
right?
color as well.
Adds colors. I remember you mentioned last week you talked about the rainbow colors, how important it is to eat more different colors.
Eating a rainbow is so terribly important, and we can keep that in our mind.
Sorry.
I find with some of these salad dressings, I don't want to waste any of it. You find me scraping.
After the lemon, I actually put more water, and then I made it lemon water. Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing about this frozen lemon, right?
Yeah.
Once you've got these little cubes, you could throw them in a big jug of water, and all of a sudden you've got lemon juice.
Yes.
So easy.
Yeah. If we plan ahead, it's really makes things much easier, especially when you have a job and kids and that type of thing. Okay. So now we can see it's actually really creamy, just like mayonnaise. If we had some dill, it would be great too.
Dill, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, So
well, I've got tarragon here, and I've got thyme.
should we put some tarragon then?
Maybe we'll leave it.
Okay.
For the time being.
Let's try. This is the cream spoon.
This is a clean spoon.
Even, I'm not sure.
Yes.
This is sitting from a long time, this tofu.
Okay.
Is
Sitting for a long time.
Yeah, in my refrigerator, it's there. So can I use this for mayonnaise?
Expiration date on it.
Say again?
What is the expiration date?
Uh,
And maybe when you open it, you can taste if it's sour, that means it's a bit off.
it's 14th May.
Oh, yeah, it's fine then. Yeah, it's only a day.
It's only a day or two old. It should be fine.
I think we need a little more lemon. Maybe a little garlic.
It will be
Right.
sour.
Yeah, I think just a day or two off is fine, But just try it, see if it's sour. If it's sour, then it's off, Yeah.
So if it is sour, I should not use?
Sorry?
If it is sour, I should not use?
Yeah, if it's sour, then it's probably off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing with soy. Yeah. Maybe a little apple cider vinegar.
Might also put a little bit of steak, please.
Yeah, I think it needs a little. Yeah. Maybe since we're gonna blend again, the black one would be nice. Is that what we're on?
14. 15 May. 14, 5, 14 and 5, 15. So 15 May तक चल सकता कल.
Now you can also make a very bland mayonnaise, tofu nace, and you can add fruit to it. to make a sweet mayonnaise. So, for example, dragon fruit, very nice. Strawberries, blueberries. Often with children, because children's tummies are very small, we need to get a lot of calories into them, but that have nutrients as well.
Much better.
Yep. I soak cashews in drinking water. That is not
Some garlic? Did you put garlic?
I put too close.
Okay.
Yeah. And when they're nice and soft, usually after about 8 hours, I blend that with a piece of dragon fruit, the red dragon fruit, and that's amazing.
Wow.
Children love that. And it's bright red. The kids love it. And I give them carrot sticks and cucumber sticks and capsicum sticks. You see, and celery sticks. You see the kids sticking all of these in there to get the sauce.
Nice.
And they're eating the vegetables as well as the
and healthy sauce.
And it's a healthy sauce as well. Yeah. I'm looking forward to making the balsamic strawberry dressing.
Okay, so I'm going to put this in a jar and maybe just show them how creamy that became.
That is very creamy. And it's actually low calorie because the creaminess comes from the tofu, which per gram is not that high in calories. It's not incredibly calorie dense. Whereas if you were to make that out of cashews, that would be much more calorie dense. So tofu is a very good delivery system for a whole lot of flavors without being, calorie intense, so that you put on weight. So if you're trying to go for losing weight option, it's one of the green light foods.
So you can make mayonnaise without cashews, Denise?
This Tofu Nace is made with tofu, but I have made mayonnaise with cashews, soaked cashews.
Yeah.
But it's much more calorie dense.
Yeah.
And it's more suited for people who are, say, perhaps athletes and children that have a high caloric requirement.
Yeah.
Just my chickpea nuts. Yeah. Okay. So the garlic Caesar dressing, I'm just waiting for the jug to come back. 2 cloves of garlic. I'll just make the regular quantity. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and I've just got enough. Yiwen, do you happen to have any nutritional yeast at all?
Yeah. Let me just clean this jug and I'll...
We don't have any almond butter, but we're going to use peanut butter, and that's a natural one. Miso paste, lemon, too many ingredients here. Garlic, lemon, thank you. I've got some minced cilantro because we're out of parsley.
Denise, this is also in the cookbook?
Yes, it is. The garlic Caesar dressing is on page 83.
You've told them how to clean a blender, right?
No.
Yeah. The easiest way, a lot of people think, blending, so much troublesome and all this because of the cleaning part. But actually, the most easiest way is to, after you blend certain things, to fill it up, maybe halfway, put a little bit dish detergent, and just blend again. It's a very simple way, and then take the water out.
Do you get good blenders in China even?
Oh, sorry, 1 second.
You can.
You get?
If you're going to make small quantities, I recommend a very high quality, the top range NutriBlend, NutriBullet. Or if you're going to make larger quantities, get either a Thermomix or a Vinegar.
Yeah. I have my blender from India, and it's very heavy. And yeah, it's been a while I've been using, so I want to switch to something else from China, maybe.
Someone asked me something
About blenders.
Oh, blender. Yeah, there's this local versions. NutriBullet I've used, but it breaks. Like it overheats.
Yeah.
Because the juice somehow leaks. What I got something. This is originally from Taiwan. It's called Supermom. I like it because it also has the stainless steel blender part. This also has a stainless steel blender part.
Yeah.
And you can make wonderful soups right from the blender. Last night we made this beautiful roasted pumpkin soup that we roasted pumpkin, caramelized the onion, and just cooked it right in here because you can apply heat to this.
Yeah, a really
steel.
powerful blender. I've mentioned it before with the Vitamix. Like, for example, if you're really pressed for time, you've got a bag of peas and some mint. You can throw and a little bit of the curry paste. You can throw a bag of frozen peas in a blender, a couple of cups of water, throw in maybe half an onion, chopped onion, you just put in some ginger, put in some mint, turn it on, walk away. 10-15 minutes later, it is hot soup.
Yeah, but Vitamix is plastic.
I have a Philips that has a glass.
Oh, the glass
one,
yeah.
And you can buy a Vitamix that has the glass here. You can buy it.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be using it instead of using a Thermomix, then the glass jug is a definite investment. The other one that people like, which Jill Dalton uses on her channel, is the Blend Tech. And the Blend Tech is they're very strong. They come with this. Vitamix comes with a 7-year warranty. I think Blend Tech as well. And the Blend Tech also has like a case that covers it to keep the noise down.
Right. This one also. And then this one also has this
Is that a Vitamix?
filter. No, this is a Taiwanese. We use it for whole kitchen in Taiwan. That's why I fell in love with it. It's so great because I like how it has this filter inside, so you can make also bean milk, rice milk, and that type of thing. Yeah.
Well, you can make your soup in that, not the plastic. You wouldn't make anything hot.
Yeah.
Right.
I have the steel one. I have the steel one, which the lentils. I use my lentils, right? So I grind those lentils with very less water, and then I make a kind of roti, right? Using the lentils. Yeah.
Delicious. So I put 2 large cloves of roasted garlic in there. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Yin Yang Jiaofen.
Did I hear roti? I'm really getting hungry too now.
Do you have any more fun?
Yeah. You need it now or after?
Nope. Later, I'll make some. I need some yeast. I'll make some. Oops. I'll make some.
So, what was mentioned about roti?
Kuldeep makes her own roti.
Ooh, Kuldeep! Wow.
Do you want to tell?
I make lentils roti. Have you heard of it? Lentils one? Like we call it as.
Makes her own flour out of the lentil
flour. The red lentils or the green and brown lentils?
Green lentils. We have a big one. It's also available in supermarkets, the green one. And I just soak them overnight. And then morning, I put some onions and some ginger and then make a paste. And I use that like a batter. and then make it like it's called in South India it's called dosha.
Oh yes, dosa. Yeah.
Dosa, yeah. So that is made of lentils, and then we eat with coconut chutney. We call it as chutney, like a side
Oh.
one. We dip it and eat together. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, because I actually make mung bean like roti with
Yeah.
mung bean.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
oh,
Yellow,
then I never tried lentils.
yellow lentils, right?
I use the green beans, the mung beans, the down, not the yellow ones, the green. Yeah.
Yeah, the green ones also are good, and also you can make with yellow ones.
Okay.
Yeah, yellow ones are more lighter. You can eat
Lighter.
more than the green beans one.
Right. Oh, sounds great.
So just to let you know, I've just added a tablespoon of peanut butter. This is the natural unsalted crunchy version to the 2 cloves of garlic and the 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. But the recipe actually calls for almond butter, which we don't have. Yeah, so you can substitute that. And that gives it
we can substitute if you don't have almond butter with peanut butter.
You could, yeah.
Okay.
Almonds is actually a very expensive nut here in China because they're grown in America. Almonds are often used in America.
It's not very sustainable either.
It's not.
It takes a lot of water. Yeah, but you can use walnut too. Like walnut's available in China.
Okay, so then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the lemon. One of the recipes that I have is I make a vegan butter. And how I make it is I just get very lightly roasted, that's 1 tablespoon of lemon. I get walnuts, good quality walnuts. You have to get good quality walnuts. Very, very lightly roast them. Very, very lightly roast them. Not too much, because if you roast them too much, it can make them bitter. And then you add drinking water and you blend it up, and it makes a butter. And it is an excellent substitute for butter. You know?
And great on just leafy greens, like a walnut dressing.
Good to give to kids. You know, if you're trying to get more calories into them, so that that they've got lots of energy. So adults perhaps not so much. We don't need as much unless we've got very active lives. Okay, so a tablespoon of white miso paste. Now, Yiwen and I had a conversation. She says that this yellow miso is actually considered white miso. So what I've been using is correct. Okay. Miso. One tablespoon of minced fresh parsley. I've got some cilantro there. That would be a good substitute. 1 teaspoon of the mustard. Seeded mustard. I actually do like Dijon mustard. I know that this seeded mustard is a form of Dijon, but I like the smooth Dijon mustard. I actually find it a lot stronger. It's twice the price of the regular seeded mustard, but you can get it on Taobao. And it says to put 1.5 piece of fresh turmeric. We don't have any fresh turmeric, so I'm going to put a tablespoon of powdered turmeric.
You have in your garden, right?
Oh, it says a quarter of a teaspoon. Yeah.
Because the dry version is much stronger.
It is much stronger. Now, turmeric must be an ingredient you use a lot called the.
Yeah.
And this is Dr. Greger's Savory Spice Blend. I'm a bit short on clean spoons.
Okay.
It's okay, I'll just wipe this one. And then we'll set the tablespoon. 1 teaspoon. the onion powder and the savoury spice blend. Onion powder seems to absorb a lot of moisture. It goes solid fairly. That's it. That's Dr. Greger's savoury spice. So at the beginning of his book, he's got a number of little mixtures such as the savoury spice blend, the date syrup, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And you make them up first. And you keep them. You can make a lot of other salad dressings and other things. So that's it. We just add half a cup. Half a cup. It says so. That's super salad. I'm just going to clean up some of these. And I'll hand over to I'm going to spiralize some vegetables for lunch as well.
Okay, so that's the, what is this one? Dr. Greger's?
That's the garlic Caesar salad dressing.
Garlic Caesar. Okay, what are we making next? The sesame tahini or?
1 second.
Okay. So maybe I'll just start with the sesame tahini dressing, which is really simple as well. As I said, always keep jars handy at home. They're great for making different salad dressings, sauces. So this is a more Asian-inspired tahini. We're going to be using a 1/4 cup of sesame tahini, 1/4 cup of sesame tahini. I'm just going to make the tahini while you're preparing the next one.
Clean the spoon.
Okay, so 1/4 cup. This is also good. Other than salad, this is great as for blanched, boiled noodles. Yeah, steamed pumpkins and roasted vegetables. So it's very versatile. And even when you do wraps and rolls at home, just to add more, nutrients.
So this is.
No, I'm doing an Asian sesame tahini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with sesame tahini. A 1/4 cup of water. So a 1/4 cup of sesame tahini, a 1/4 cup of water.
What do you use in
Shoyu?
tamari?
Shoyu.
Soy sauce?
Soy sauce, yes.
What is the difference between tamari and soy sauce?
Good question. Tamari is for people who have gluten intolerance because, beans and soybeans made from the soy sauce.
Do you need me to
For
grate
me.
some ginger for you?
Sure. Yes, please. And, one.
Is
Two
it
tablespoons
sesame
of flour.
paste? Sorry, is it?
Yes. Taste. I'm not as disciplined as Denise. I like this brand, Suran. It's a local brand, Suran. They have nice sesame tahini. And so I use the one that's already made. So what I did was use a 1/4 cup of sesame tahini, 1/4 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. We're going to have 1 tablespoon of ginger, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of brown rice syrup.
Yeah.
To balance the acidity in it as well.
My daughters, who are half Chinese, half Shanghainese, they seem to have inherited their father's ability to make Asian sauces really well. And I do remember he had a couple of sesame seed ones that he made with vinegar and sesame seeds and rice wine vinegar. It's just amazing.
Oh, wow.
And that sprinkled over very fine little slime.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of miso as well. And then a little bit of Denise's date
Do you
syrup.
want date paste or date syrup?
The date paste, yeah.
I'll get some date syrup.
Yeah, or syrup. if you have this one. Okay, miso. And you know, if you have some orange juice, you can put some orange juice. That would be nice, but it's not necessary. Instead of date paste, because just natural sweetener. It's a wonderful natural sweetener, especially when in the summertime, citrus is full of vitamin C. So adding, you know, orange juice instead of dates is also fine.
I don't know where I put my date paste.
It's okay, I'll use that.
I actually had it on my breakfast, remember?
Oh, no, this is the one.
No. I have date paste and date syrup. The date paste was actually in the mason jar.
Oh,
It's somewhere around. It might be. But this is okay. This actually has a little bit of lemon in it, so it's a little bit more flavoursome than the actual date paste.
so simple as that. Then you have a dressing, and you can keep this for, I think, 3 days, 5 days.
My daughters love making this and cooking soba noodles,
Oh, yes.
and because they love noodles and they love dumplings and things like that, and so this would actually make a really nice dumpling.
Oh,
dipping
dumpling,
sauce.
yeah, with some fresh scallions, spring onions, I mean, yeah.
So they often make this the soba noodles, and they pour this salad dressing over, and they put scallions on top, and maybe some very finely shredded carrot as well.
Nice.
then
And
mix it all
cucumbers,
together.
yeah.
Cucumber. Yeah.
And
Makes it
some
really
sea nourish strips, right?
Yep. Okay, so did you add the ginger?
Oh no, sorry. No wonder it was like, yeah, perfect. Oh, there's a
So the balsamic strawberry dressing, I'm going to need the blender, so I'm going to pop this in something, and I'll be back.
I'll get this. I'll get the jar. Excuse us for a bit. Big enough? Oh no. It's a big one.
Oh, yeah. Here's a mason jar.
You have the spatula, right?
Yes. Now, just a word on mason jars. I have quite a lot of mason jars. I store my, I put my sauerkraut in mason jars. I use mason jars a lot.
Or upcycled.
All up some.
Yeah.
And my students and clients all know that they can bring mason jars back and I'll use them again. But I've actually discovered most of my students just hold on to the mason jars and use them themselves, store everything in them. So, because after a while you start to
You need that.
yes, after a while you start to work out where to buy things and use bags. Like take your own calico bags or your own plastic boxes, and you take them and you fill them up, and then you can put them nicely in mason jars. So if you come to my kitchen, you'll find a whole lot of mason jars on shelves with herbs and spices in them. Okay, the next one we're going to be making, we need a cup of strawberries, a tablespoon of chopped shallots, so I'll start doing that now, and date syrup. We've got balsamic vinegar, mustard, thyme, poppy seeds. We haven't got black pepper. That's good. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the sauces that you use in India, Kuldeep?
Sorry, what kind of sauce? We use
in India.
chutneys, as I said. Yeah. Denise, we make chutneys like coriander chutney or mint chutney or mango chutney.
I love peach chutney too, when peach is in season. The white peaches, yeah.
I've got peaches growing. I've got
Wow.
about 8 peach trees, I think.
You mean like peaches?
Peaches, yes, I've got peach trees growing in my garden.
Oh, wow. So what do you do with peaches? You make some like kind of dressing?
I eat them.
Okay. It's like a fruit, right?
when peaches are in season, I may eat 3 or 4 peaches a day.
Oh.
Okay, the lid's clean as well.
Yep. So what I might do is I might hand you the ingredients.
Yes, please.
We need a cup of strawberries. Pop that over there to be washed later. As a child, I grew up in the Redlands. Yiwen knows because she's from the same hometown as I am. And we had a conversation this morning about soil. It's actually volcanic. This is in a part of Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. And the soil is very rich. So it's very, very red. And it grows strawberries really well. And as a child, my mother used to pick strawberries. And there was no child minding, so I would just go with my mother and my younger sister. And as my mother was picking the strawberries, every now and then there'd be like a bruised strawberry or a strawberry that wasn't perfect. And she would just hand it to me. And so I would just sit behind her just eating strawberries. I love strawberries.
Especially the dark chocolate ones. Yeah.
That's very decadent. We also had a big mulberry tree. We had 2 big mulberry trees on our property. And I was talking to one of my neighbours on Facebook. We grew up together. And I mentioned to her about the mulberry trees. And she said she remembered how we used to climb up there when they were in season, around about summertime, just before summer, just before the school holidays in Australia. And we'd sit in the tree and we'd just eat mulberries. And they were really big, thick mulberries. And our whole faces were just purple and our hands were purple. And it's very interesting because apparently our bodies are actually designed in such a way that we can sort of binge eat a whole lot of fruit when it's in season. It doesn't harm us. It actually does us good. So we've got our strawberries in there, a tablespoon of chopped shallots, 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar, let me see, how am I going to judge this? Balsamic vinegar, date syrup, tablespoon of the date syrup, getting to the end of my date syrup actually. Yiwen, can you see the date paste? It's in a mason jar in where? Because we've come to the end of the date syrup. The smells here are just amazing.
Yes. And the colors, I love the colors. You say it's an amazing jar. You want maple syrup? I have maple syrup.
Yeah, maple syrup, right too. Quarter teaspoon of mustard. Good. Maple syrup would actually go very well with the strawberries. Some fresh thyme. I picked that from my garden, so I'm going to chop that up. my thyme has started to flower at home, which means that it's not that far away from having seeds in it. So I'm looking forward, and Yiwen's got a lovely sage bush here that's got flowers all over it. It'll soon go to seed. I'm hoping to get some seeds from her for the sage because I love sage.
Yeah.
So I've just put a teaspoon of fresh thyme. We don't have any poppy seeds, and some black pepper.
Black peppers right here. I have the lemon black.
Nice. And how much is that? Quarter teaspoon. Okay. Smells beautiful. Okay, so we can blend that up.
Okay.
Has a quarter of a cup of balsamic vinegar in it, but I think the juice from the strawberry should be okay.
Yeah, smells pretty amazing. Okay, so put this in a jar too. Let me get one with the lid. You need a blender again or not?
No, I think we're finished with the blender. We definitely have finished with the blender. And now we're going to start using the spiralizer.
I think the chickpeas are also cooked. What did you need the chickpea for?
We're going to throw it in the salad
Okay.
to sort of add some volume to the salad.
Denise, what are poppy seeds?
Poppy seeds, they're very hard to get.
Did you add poppy seeds to this dressing?
I don't have poppy seeds, and Yiwen doesn't as well. Poppy seeds are actually fairly expensive and hard to get. They do add a very nice fragrance to it.
Okay.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, it's in the recipe, right? So I was looking.
Unfortunately, not all of the ingredients that are in Western written recipe books are that easily available in China. So I'm just going to move that out. I'm just moving some of these things out of the way. Now, we have a machine here. It's called a spiralizer. I'm just trying to make myself a little bit more room. There, we're going to pop that probably in that salad.
What are you making, Denise, now?
We're going to spiralize some vegetables. Angel, do you have a salad bowl? No.
What is it? You mean spiral? What is it?
This is a very interesting technique. Thank you very much. Of getting raw vegetables made in such a way that you can get non-vegetable people to eat them. So this is a zucchini, and I'm going to trim the edge off it. I'm going to put it in this fancy machine. These machines are not expensive. You can get them on Taobao.
Okay.
Excuse me while I just down my table.
Machine vegetables.
Now, remember what we said last night in the calorie density class, that the more raw vegetables that you eat, not only are you adding a lot of vibrancy to your body, but you're going to have more volume without having the extra calories. So this is a zucchini, okay? If you were to cook this zucchini, it will make it mushy and you will not feel as full if you ate a cooked zucchini. Now, what we're going to do here is I am going to spiralize it. I think I've got it.
Need to put a plate on it. Oh,
I've got a salad bowl. No, it's not big. Yiwen's just gone to get me a plate.
this will work.
And making zoodles out of it.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that you will find is that when you've got raw vegetables like this, if you add a balsamic dressing to it and then leave it for a few minutes, the acids in the salad dressing will start to break down some of the raw vegetables and make it a little bit easier to digest. And
what's the name of the machine, Denise?
here we go.
Dennis, what do
Yes?
you call this machine?
It's actually Yiwen's machine, but I have one that's exactly like it in Ningbo. And it makes what's known as zoodles. That's noodles with a Z.
Yeah. But, you know, for home, I think you can just get a pencil sharpener type that doesn't take so much space. They also work pretty well as
Yeah,
well.
but what do you call it? What is the name?
I have to look up on time.
Spiralizer?
Spiralizer, yes.
Spiralizer. Okay.
Spiralizer, yes.
Yeah.
Spiralzer.
Yeah, it looks
And
good.
yeah, so it becomes like this,
Yeah.
like noodles. You can use cucumber, you can use carrots. In Australia, I love adding seaweed noodles, but I don't know where you get them here to add into this raw salad dish.
And of course, if you were having noodles, they have their density, their calorie density is much higher than zoodles. And if you've got really, really nice sauces, then the zoodles are a delivery system for the sauce. Another trick of getting kids to eat this sort of thing is to get them to make the zoodles.
Yeah.
Kids surprisingly will eat a lot of stuff that they make themselves, that if you make it for them, they won't eat.
Yeah, that's why I love making energy balls with them, because it's such a healthy snack.
Mm-hmm. So Yiwen actually has got here both the green zucchini and she's got a yellow zucchini, so that's going to add a lot of different colour.
Yeah, and cucumbers. Maybe I'll take this one because it should be more on a flat surface.
Do you have any questions, Kaldi? Because we're coming to the end of our class now. I wish you were here for lunch.
Yeah, I'll be trying to make these salad dressing in this weekend and see how it tastes.
Well, it's nice to add a little bit of variety. I know that in India you have so many different flavours, but it's also nice to have something different every now and then too.
And I never tried zucchini, so this is something new for me, this vegetable, zucchini. So what do you add in that? Like you can add to any salad, this zucchini?
Mm-hmm. And I've asked Yiwen if she could cook some chickpeas, and we're going to throw the cooked chickpeas into this. But you could just as easily throw the dried roasted chickpeas too.
Do you use brinjal a lot? Put brinjal?
Yeah, brinjal is eggplant.
Yeah, do we use eggplant as part of this course anytime?
Yeah, she made eggplant the other day, like 2 days back. She stir-fried the eggplant.
Yes.
Yeah, with some ginger.
That's nice and yellow. That zucchini's nice and yellow. And
Yeah.
actually, is
Bulk add kar dena, wallo.
add anything else to that? Because
Want to add some cucumber?
cucumber
Or this one?
actually spiralized cucumber.
This is also zucchini?
This is cucumber.
Cucumber. Oh, cucumber also you can do.
Yep. Cucumber also. Carrot might be better. Yeah, this might be too soft. Too soft. Yeah.
Oh, my carrots are kind of small.
Yeah. Need the bigger carrots, right? Bigger carrots. Yeah, I saw you have because I have also the small one.
Mm.
Can we also use carrot for that machine? Carrot.
Yeah, you can use.
Carrot. Can.
Yeah,
Should we just chop the cucumbers up?
Yeah, maybe you chop this one first. This one hasn't been chopped yet. I'll bring the knife. I'll bring the
Chopping. Okay. I think it's getting close to lunchtime. Blood sugar. Any food. Do you use these?
Yeah. It's organic from Biofarm. Don't waste, right?
Mm.
Somebody in the
वो बायोफॉर्म उसको चलान दी शायद जैसे ये वेजिटेबल्स ग्रो कर दी अपने नहीं वेजिटेबल्स नहीं जैसे हर्ब्स वो सब ग्रो कर दी ना
अच्छा ग्रो करना शुरू करना
चाहिए बोल
जो बालकनी है ना सामने
हर बंदे को जो ये है अपना छोटा सा एक रहना चाहिए जिसमें आप
let's use that space so that's your bedroom
So even do you have your biofarm? Can you talk about little bit?
Biofarm, because I did a corporate wellness workshop yesterday at a creative brand agency. So they sponsored me some vegetables. So we're very lucky that we have some, vegetable, leftover organic vegetable. Of course, we usually buy organic as well, but Biofarm, it's actually, where do you live, please?
Beijing.
Oh, Beijing, okay. Biofarm is located in Pudong. They started about quite early, I think about 20 years ago.
Cool.
But I can ask what. Oh, you know what? There's another one in near Beijing called Sunrise Harvest that's located in Qingdao area. That has, I think, delivers to clients in Beijing. Biofarms in Pudong, they mainly focus on this region, I think. Yeah, but for the sprouts, they have a very wonderful specialty called the ambrosia sprouts, which I showed you before, and even sprouted chickpeas, that type of thing. So,
do they deliver also? Because we live very far from Beijing, like outskirts.
Six single.
I can give their official WeChat account to Denise, and you can contact their customer service.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah. But yeah, because the sprouts they have is actually very special. I showed you the different colors and varieties. They also make some beautiful different sauces as well that they sell as well.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's it. That's our class. And I will just bring around our spiralized salad that we're going to enjoy eating our salad dressings with.
Wow.
See that?
Yeah. So did you add some tomatoes? It looks some tomatoes and zucchini.
A few tomatoes. And if we were to put the balsamic strawberry balsamic sauce on this, that would be quite a few colors.
We can mix different sauces. It also goes well with the sesame tahini.
It would go well with
Miso.
the sesame tahini. So we are about to leave you now, and we're going to have our lunch and allow you to have your lunch, and we're going to enjoy our salad dressings.
Yeah, happy Saturday. And
Saturday.
Join Denise today for her sauce class.
Yes. And
thank you
very much for and being here. So much to learn.
My pleasure.